Hey, organizers, it's Melissa. I just got off a flight from Zurich and I am just waiting for my flight to go home and get ready for the holidays and all the things. I was supposed to actually put up this podcast before I left. Guess what? I didn't. But I think that's okay because the topic of the podcast is one that I think we all need. 2025 has been kind of a tough year, and just the news in the last day has been just horrific. Just a lot of bad things happening in the world, and just reminding all of us that taking some time and slowing down and just appreciating what we have and trying to be a little happier. I think we probably all need, but this podcast is one that Cabri and I wanted to put together because we just wanted to get really honest about the year and burnout and a lot of other topics that I think apply to a lot of us. If you're having an absolute spectacular year and nothing has gone wrong for you, please tell us your secrets. But I think it's important to talk about when things are good and when things are tough. So I hope this podcast helps you. And I am happy to be back. And I'll be back at work and back working for all of you guys starting soon. But until then, here is your episode this week. I hope it helps you. Have a great day, organizers.
Time is flying and I'm not prepared for it.
This year's been weird.
Yeah,
It's been weird.
it's been very busy. It's just so fast. Like
It
time
went so
flies.
fast. And then also just a lot of things happened. The other day I said, because I'm leaving on this trip and I get back on the 15th. And I'm like, the 15th, that's 10 days before Christmas.
Yeah.
And 16 days until the last day of the year. And I do feel like it has been a really, really like accelerated pace year.
Yeah. That's even worse for me to say because last year for me personally was that much more chaos. But this
Yeah.
year, for some reason, is moving 10 times faster than even last year.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. Time has just compounded. I can't even tell you what I have spent the majority of my time on.
Oh, that's a great I don't either. Like actual accomplishments.
Yeah, if you were to say, what are the 10 best things that you accomplished in 2025? I don't know. What?
Well, I feel like you and I joke a lot, like if we're texting, what's your goal this week? Survival.
Literally.
So I think
Literally.
what'd you do this year? I made it.
Well, I also see these people that are like, putting up crazy numbers in their business or they're, "Oh, hey, I'm making this craft for my child." And I'm like, "I do not even have kids, and
Yeah.
I am already behind and don't have time, and I don't sleep enough, and I'm not taking care of myself the best that I should." And like,
Correct.
where do y'all get the time? Like, where do I go buy some from?
Well, so I do have some people in my life who are doing all the things. They do it
Mhm.
flawlessly, and they are at the gym at 5 in the morning. And I look at those people and I want to be those people, right? I really do. My one friend that I'm particularly thinking of, I admire what she can do so much, but
Mhm.
I'm like, I just don't have it in me.
No, I don't either.
I do think that there are people that are just particularly gifted at being, and by the way, this friend that I'm talking about, she also gets good sleep. So it's not just one of those things where like she sleeps 4 hours a night. She is very regimented on I go to bed early. So she even goes to bed early, which I
So
am physically incapable of doing.
my mom told me this about, like, many years ago, but she has autoimmune disease, and so they've
Yeah.
always called it spoons, like, you only have 10 spoons.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've heard about that before.
But for somebody with an autoimmune disease, like, brushing your
Like
teeth
three
is
spoons.
1 spoon,
Yeah.
and getting dressed is 1 spoon versus some people have more spoons, and so 2025 for me, this is, like, a year where I'm like, I just don't think I had enough spoons this year. Like, maybe next year, but, like, I'm just running on fumes.
I think my spoons like got in the dishwasher and they bent.
Have holes in them.
And then my kids stole a couple of the spoons and yeah, I don't have enough spoons.
Yeah. Yeah, this is where those conversations where, like, influencers like, "We all have the same 24 hours a day," and I'm
Right.
like,
Beyonce has the same 24 hours a day that I do.
"No, we don't." Beyoncé
So
has a chef and a driver and a
yes.
house cleaner and all the other things.
And that's what I was just about to say. So, one of my best friends, she's very high up at her company. She's a complete superstar, but she works with almost all men. And she said one day, she was like, I realized what I need. I need a wife.
Mhm.
Because all these guys, and this is a very gender, regulatory, like, all these guys have stay-at-home wives who do their whole life for them.
Yep.
Take care of the kids, doesn't matter if they have to travel constantly, takes care of everything, does the laundry, the shirts show up in the closet fully
Yep.
laundered, and she goes, "All these guys are doing the same job as I am, but they don't have any of the other things that I have to think about."
They don't carry the mental load.
They do not.
Yep.
None of them.
Yep.
None of them.
That's it. That's the answer. 2025 was just a heavy mental load year for everyone.
Yeah, it really was. I said at the beginning of this podcast, if you're watching this on YouTube, I mean, my office is an absolute trash pit. To be fair, I am getting ready to go on a trip, and so I have a bunch of packages and all sorts of stuff. But I was like, "Oh, no, I'm not gonna clean up my background because this is, like, the whole point of what we're doing.
Yep.
This is this is real life, and and this year, it just is felt a little bit messy."
Yep. I think the same way that, like, organizing clients ask organizers, like, "Oh,
"Is your house perfect?"
you must be so organized." Well, then,
Yeah.
you as a mentor and coach, like, all the other organizers are looking up to you and, "Oh, I'm running my business wrong," or "I'm doing this," and
Right.
we're sitting there talking about it, we're like, "Okay, also, we're doing these things wrong because 'cause we're surviving, barely."
No, I think it's important to talk about because I do think that there's this perception, and I was having this conversation with my daughter this week because I was encouraging her to take a break from social media, like, just delete it entirely off her phone. And I was talking about how, we get these perceptions, everyone's doing better than me. And I go, "No, they're not." And I give her 1,000 examples of how I know that they're not, right? But we do project this. I think people think that, "Oh, I must know more because I have a podcast. I must know more about doing business and I do everything perfectly."
Mhm.
No, I mess stuff up all the time. And there are a ton of people. It's so funny. I look at you as someone who I'm like, "Man, she has got her act together totally. She's doing all these things." And I know that that's not, I mean, you and I talk about it. Like, there are things that you and I have said, "Oh, we're going to do blah, 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 blah this week or this month together in our business." And then at the end of the month, we're like, "Oh man, we ran out of time."
Yeah.
That's reality. Like, no one is doing it perfectly.
No, and okay, so, like, true, real honesty, vulnerability. I came home this afternoon and I was just, like, dog beat exhausted, and so I definitely laid down and took an hour-long nap. Could that
Yeah.
time have been more productive elsewhere? Probably. Do I still have a mile-long to-do list? Yes,
Yeah.
but my brain needed a reset.
Yeah. I think so. I did a podcast earlier this year with my friend Keelan, and we talked about because she had said this to me in a personal conversation. I'm like, "Hey, we need a podcast about this," and we talked about why can we just do nothing. We said we feel guilty when if we have an hour, we'll go, "Oh, well, I should be doing blah 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 blah," instead of just before we started talking about this, you and I were talking about daydreaming or thinking, and we don't give ourselves that time. And I do if I choose to take a nap. Even if it's a weekend when I don't have anything going on, I feel guilty about it,
Mhm.
and that is honestly crazy.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah.
And my mom asked me yesterday, she texted and she was like, "How's your job?" And I'm just like, "Mom, it's work." Like, work is
Work
even
is
if I
work.
love it, right? I mean, we all love what we do, right? We love what we do. We love our clients. We love the people that are around us. But I was really honest with her. I go, "Mom," I said, "it's totally fine. Everything's fine. But I'm tired of working." And that is the truth. And if we're not being honest about that, like, again, I love what I do, but it's also okay to be like, "I am really, really tired."
You can love what you do and have passion for it and still get burnout and still be
Absolutely.
exhausted and need to set some boundaries with either people in your personal life or business life or your boundaries with yourself. I mean, honestly, the social media thing is I probably need that. I probably just need to delete it off my phone, absolutely, and then deal with it later on.
Yeah. Well, and the social media thing is also, I've talked about this a couple of times before, but there are times when I'll be scrolling, even if it's just like fun personal scrolling time, and I start to feel pressure about all the things that we just said. Like,
Mhm.
"Oh, well, I'm not growing my own broccoli in my backyard. Man, I'm a loser." I don't have a garden. I'm not making my dogs food. I'm not like whatever it is, there is just
Mhm.
so much pressure on, oh, I'm supposed to be doing this and this and this and this, whether it's in my business or my personal life or, being a mom or whatever. It's a lot of pressure. Even when you're just like, well, I just wanted to ding around my phone a little bit tonight. It's subtle pressure that you don't realize maybe that you're getting.
Yeah. No, I agree. Anytime I am catching myself randomly scrolling or wanting to take a nap, even if I am exhausted, like I'm like, I could be doing more. I could always
Yeah.
be doing more. I could always be doing better. It's always that constant thought in my head.
Have you done anything? Have you had anything this year where you're like, man, 20? So I'm not a big New Year's resolution person, but I do at the beginning of the year, I kind of going, oh, these are some things that I would like to do. Before we started this, we were talking about reading. And I go, I didn't read as many books this year as I wanted to. Do you have anything that you're thinking about that you regret that you did or didn't do this year that you want to do differently next year?
Regret? No. Like not not regret. Like this year has been amazing, even though it's been busy. And like I have had multiple points in the year where I feel like I have reached that point of burnout. This is a me problem. I do love goals and I do set like New Year's resolutions and I pick my word of the year and I do all the things, but like I can give myself the goal of I want to make $500,000. I can give that goal easily. I can give the goal of I want to be consistent posting on social media. We should have, a 75% completion rate. Like I can set goals like that. I have no earthly idea how to set a goal for health and wellness and
Oh, sure.
like those things that are important, self-care, like not a single clue.
Yeah.
Am I going to get sleep? Like sometimes I get 6 hours of sleep and I feel great. Sometimes I get 10 hours of sleep and I feel like crap.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, those are things that I don't know how to quantify and they don't count in my
Yeah.
brain as a goal because it's feelings based, it's emotions based. If I'm having a bad day, everything in the world can go right. I'm still
Yeah.
having a bad day.
You're still miserable. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. That one's a hard one for me because I have never been good at self-care type
Yeah.
setting.
This is not like a trite statement of I put myself last, but I just mean physically. So health wise, other things like that, that is always the thing that goes to the bottom of
Mhm.
the by the way, one of the things in this trash pile on my floor is a walking pad. And I said, oh, I have this walking pad. I'm gonna do stand-up desk. And I've turned it on one time. Now, to be fair, I only got it like 3 weeks ago, but I can always find an excuse to put that last, and that theoretically should be the most important thing, especially with, if you are an organizer that's still going on jobs every day, like,
Yeah.
it's really important.
Yes.
I'm not an organizer who goes on jobs every day, but I still also need to take care of myself. But it's easy for that to unless you have a crisis point of a health
Mhm.
crisis or anything, it's really easy to just put that at the bottom of the pile.
Well, and okay, so this is the competitive person in me. If I got myself a walking pad and especially if it was one of the ones that tracked like how many miles you're walking,
Oh, yeah.
I would I would constantly make it a challenge. Like, it wouldn't be good enough for me in my brain to just say,
Oh,
"Hey,
okay.
walk on the walking pad for an hour today or 2
Yeah,
hours today."
sure.
It would suddenly become, "Oh, I walked on it 2 miles yesterday. Now I need to walk on it a mile, 2.5 miles, and then it has to be 3
Right.
miles." And it is, like, constantly in my head. Like, even we were talking about books, reading books. In my head, I'm like, "Oh, I would love to read 50 books this year."
Yeah.
And then suddenly it's, "Oh, no, no, not 50, like, fun fiction, get
Yeah.
your nose in it kind of books.
50, War and Peace.
They need to be financial, they need to be a mindset, like, they have to have
Right.
some power behind them." And I'm like, "Well, I just ruined all my fun in one
Yeah.
fell swoop." So,
But that goes back to the, like, you can't ever just be still. I don't mean you, I just mean all of us. It's really hard to be like, I can just read a trashy romance novel if I want
yeah.
to. Or I can read if I want to, I can reread Profit First and go implement it. I can go do that, but I can also just be like, I just want to read murder mystery. The end.
So, I think I recognize this about myself at some point, but I am one of those people that will never be content. Like, I
Mhm.
know that sounds really bad, but it's just I don't wanna be stagnant. I don't wanna be
Yeah.
stale. I don't wanna let myself man, I don't even know what the right word is. I just don't want to become complacent, essentially. And so that piece of my brain is constantly pushing me and yearning for more. And I think it's great because sometimes that is the part that's triggered with other people and I get to push them in good
Yeah.
ways, you know? And so it's not necessarily a bad thing, but then there's this other side of my brain that I'm finally listening to. It's also you can respond to that text message tomorrow.
Oh, for
You
sure.
can check emails in 3 days. It's if it's an
Yeah.
emergency, they'll call. You can read a book. You can read a book. Everything else will be waiting for you tomorrow. The to-do list is still there. You can take a nap if you're tired.
Yeah.
You know, it just I finally have given myself a little bit of grace, and that probably would be a win for 2025. But
Okay, I like that.
I
But what
haven't
if you
turned off that other part of go, 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 constantly competing with myself, always yearning for more.
I'm introspective enough about myself to realize work is an important part of my life. I derive a lot of satisfaction. I get a lot of self-worth out of
Mhm,
my work and about, being successful is important to me and having people think that I'm doing a good job is important to me and
mhm.
doing valuable things. But I think that that can go toxic very quickly because then it is oh gosh, you're emailing me at 11 o'clock at night. Oh my gosh, you're working so hard. That should not be a success metric.
You don't get a trophy for that.
And but our phones make it toxic because it's always on. I get kind of panicky when I'm like, if I put my phone down for 2 hours, I'm like, what if I miss something like really, really, really important?
What?
I'm never missing anything
I
important.
was about to say, what?
I'm not. I know, and I recognize that it's a stupid thought process, but it still is. Like I've been, I see all those ads for that brick
Uh-huh.
thing. And I'm like, "Okay, that brick, if you really think about it, because 'cause I've thought about buying it, right? And then I go, "Or I could just shut my phone off." Literally. So I'm actually thinking about paying I have no idea how much they cost.
I don't
I'm
either.
thinking about let's say they're $100. So I'm gonna go spend $100 when I could literally shut my phone off.
Yeah, but we're addicts and we like
Yeah,
dopamine, and dopamine,
yeah,
we derive it from our phone and the people that are giving us attention and satisfaction and
yes,
deeper than just turn your phone off.
for sure. But that is something that I would like to tackle this year, and I've done some digital detoxes. Speaking of books, there's a really good book, Cal Newport. He's written 2 books that I really love. One of them is called Deep Work, and one of them is I think it's just called Digital Detox. I'll have to look it up, but he's great, and a couple of times I have done his digital detox pretty faithfully, but it's a weird feeling. But then I'm
Yeah.
like, "Okay, so 20 years ago, we didn't have all of this. What has changed? And then what has changed is we're constantly connected, which makes us feel obligated to keep working at 11 o'clock at night,
Mhm.
even when it's not good for us.
My brain operates like that. I can go without my phone for 2 hours and it doesn't bother me. I do have moments when it does in certain instances, but I cannot sit in quiet. I
No,
cannot
I can't
sit
either.
and think. I can't meditate. I need a to-do list. I need a voice recording going because
Yeah.
it's like the minute my brain gets 1 ounce of nothingness, it's suddenly like popcorn and it's
Yeah.
ideas and thoughts and to-do lists and things that I forgot to do and all the things I need to buy at the grocery store, and I can't turn it off. Like, it's never
Yeah.
quiet in my brain.
Yeah. No, my brain is never quiet either. This is something I have not thought about this until right this very second. So, when you were just talking about all that, I was like, "Okay, so I'm significantly older than you." And I've been feeling lately, man, I'm too tired to think of some of these like, some of it, like, my brain still goes, but I'm like, "Whew, I'm too tired to do any of that." 20 years ago, when I was your age, I think I would have been like, "I'm doing all the things."
Mhm.
I feel like there's been a big difference, and I can feel it in the last couple of years in myself of, "Man, I'm just tired." And I still have all the ideas, but executing the ideas is getting a lot harder. And a lot of the people listening to this are in my age category and I think are struggling with the same thing. And it's perimenopause and menopause and all the things, right?
Mhm.
But I really do feel like age is a big difference there too.
I think that it could be bigger, and the only reason I say that is because I do still struggle with it
Okay.
pretty heavily, even with age differences and stuff like that. I mean, I could it's a whole other thing with hormones and being a woman and oh god, but I don't know, like, I still very much so struggle with it.
Yeah. Well, but also I wasn't, it could, it's all of the things, right? Like 20 years ago when I was your age,
Mhm.
We didn't have all the other variables. The other variables were not the same, right? So we
Yeah.
can't do an apples to apples comparison.
Yeah.
I definitely feel like in the last few years, I have not had the same amount of get up and go that I used to. I would,
Well,
but
so in my brain, I'm thinking of I think I got my first cell phone, which, of course, like, Facebook and Instagram was different then, but I think I got my first cell phone in middle school, and I don't have a ton
Mhm,
of memories from, like, elementary age
mhm,
school, and so, in my head, I'm like, 1, I don't know any different, but there's also this part of, yeah, now we've had 20 plus years of constant people having access to us,
constant,
constant
constant.
distraction,
Yep.
constant social, even if it's online and you're not, like, visible or talking to somebody. I'm like, "What is that doing to our nervous systems, our brains, our psychology?" Like, it has to be
It's
changing
bad.
something.
It's I can tell you it's bad.
Yeah, it's very I mean, I get
Yeah.
it, and as we're talking about it and we're talking about burning out and being exhausted and all the other things, I'm like, "That's a big one that's gonna
Oh,
come
yeah,
back
for
around
sure,
and get us."
for sure. I do think that there is room for people if they wanted to, and I'm gonna have to explore if this is something I wanna do myself, but, like, the slower living
Mhm.
concept, there are a lot of people that are thinking about that, and I know if I'm on social media, I'm really attracted to the every once in a while, I get served, like, "We decided to move to Alaska off grid, and we live 9 hours from the nearest city," and I'm like, "Man, that sounds great. Could I do that tomorrow?"
Mhm.
And I think that there is a part of that that I go, "Could I give myself a challenge in 2026? Could I go without social media for a year? Could I do it? Could
You
I?"
you saying that,
Did it make you nervous?
my nervous system had I just felt the rising panic of, "Oh my
Interesting.
god, no."
Okay, but let's talk about, like, why did you feel that way?
I mean, okay, so I connect with so many people on social media, both,
Yeah,
like, in with a client sense, I connect with
sure,
organizers, in that sense, I connect with some of my extended family, and
sure,
so, for me, it's efficient because I'm like, "Oh, I can post one thing on social media and I hit all my categories," right?
sure.
Like, whether, whatever category they fall in.
Yep.
If I if I didn't do that, like, what am I'm gonna mail you a letter and tell you about my like, that
I
doesn't
know, we could be pen pals. Oh my gosh, Capri, we could be pen pals.
okay, but I don't wanna do that with the 100 or 150 people that I
You're
do
like, "I'm not doing that with you."
well, and I like, you know how miserable that would be? Like, we would have to text each other before our letter got to each other because
Oh, right. Yeah, that's a good point.
but that's what I'm saying is I would wanna keep in contact and, like, touch base with my closer relationships,
Yeah,
but with that so that to me is, like, why social media can be a good tool,
for
but
sure.
both ends of the spectrum, there's another side here that's, like, not healthy and not safe, and so it's like, how do we get back to a good balanced middle ground?
With me, when I think about my life, the entirety of my life, whether it's health and fitness or work or family or anything like that, phones, anything, my switches are on and off.
Yes.
I have never been good with moderation is not something I understand.
Hi, welcome to ADHD.
Right, yeah, I
We
mean,
don't talk about that enough.
listen, again, as I've said 8,000,000 times, undiagnosed and untreated ADHD right here, right? By the way, maybe that should be my goal for 2026 is to go get a freaking ADHD, a diagnosis and prescription, right? I may change my entire life because of that. I don't know. But I think about it and I'm like, "Well, yeah, because it makes me nervous too. Could I do it without a year?" And then I think about all the things that I do get that I love. There's a kid that he's not a kid anymore, right? He's a grown ass adult, but I used to babysit him and I was his camp counselor in my summers from college. He is the most entertaining freaking person on Facebook. He finds the best stuff. He finds funny memes. Every day I'm like, "What has Brandon posted today?" It makes me legitimately happy. And so then I'm like, "Well, I would miss Brandon."
Yeah.
But there are things that I would miss, and so I'm like, "Well, then I've gotta find some sort of middle ground. I have to find some moderation."
Yeah. No, I think that's moderation is I keep coming back to this, like, balance. I don't know
Yes,
what that looks like, and it probably varies from person to person, but not completely off grid unless you totally wanna do that. I mean,
sure.
don't go to Alaska. It's
I'm not gonna do that.
please
It's
don't
okay.
do that.
Yeah, I'm not going to.
The sun is way too bright and for many months and then dark for many
And
months.
then it's not out at all for many
I was about to
months.
say, that freaks me out a little bit because I like night and day.
I like night and day. This podcast is titled, "I Like Night and Day" by Cabri Carpenter.
Please edit that out. Anyways.
I will not edit it out.
Anyways, we have one side, and then we have the people who are constantly comparing themselves and on social media all the time. That's not healthy either. But I don't know. There has to be like, what is balanced for you? If you could
Okay.
design a balanced,
Okay, I like this question. I'm actually thinking too, though, I feel like my word of the year needs to be something like balance or moderation or something. I'm gonna have to think about that. What does it look like? So I feel like one of the things that I did pretty successfully just on social media kind of addiction. So for some reason, I like maybe because I'm an elderly person, I tend to like Facebook more than I like Instagram. I can't explain why, but I did a couple of times. I've taken Facebook off my phone and I will only do it on my laptop. And that has been very successful for me. Now, the problem is you can't do that with Instagram and TikTok. It has to be on your phone. I mean, you can, but it's not as effective. So I think maybe it's probably a good old people purge too.
that's kind of what I was thinking. I was like,
It sounds mean, but I
I
feel
see
like it's a
a
people
lot of
purge.
stuff. I see a lot of stuff that I'm like, we
I
could
don't
have.
need that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did do a little bit of a purge recently. I always call it separation of church and state too. Like I have a hard time with because I if we're talking about work separation, right? Like obviously the work that I do is with people that I genuinely like. And and I do want to know about their lives, but also if I see them, it makes me think work versus
Mhm.
personal,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. And so I do think it might be I need to take it down to like people that I am genuinely in person personal friends with and enough to be like, I want to know what they're doing. I want to know
Mhm.
what's happening in their life.
This is gonna sound really bad.
You're going to unfriend me, aren't you?
No, I'm not. Oh my god, no. But I know just enough about a lot of the organizers in, like, the inspired organizer world,
Yeah.
but please do not ask like, I know what their Facebook profile picture is, and I know what their name is. Don't ask me where they're located, don't ask me their
Oh, right.
business name, don't ask me those types of questions. So anytime somebody pops in the group or, like, on a Zoom and they're like, "Hey, I need help with this." I'm like, "Who are you? Where are you from?
Oh, yeah.
What do you do? What's your thing?" Every single time.
Well, okay, that doesn't sound bad at all. And let's just rip the Band-Aid off and say like How to Summit is a great example of I would see people and I'd be like, I know them, but I can't I would have to say, "I'm really sorry. Can you remind me where you are again? Are you in South Carolina?" And they'd be like, "No, I'm in Maine." Okay, cool, cool. And then I'd be like, "Oh, you're in like Oregon, right?" And she'd be like, "No, I live in Spain." I just get it so wrong. And it's not because I don't know them. Like I've seen them, I may have seen them on every Zoom that I've ever had with them, or but like when you see someone in person, it's different and
Mhm.
all of that. And it's very hard to keep everybody straight.
Yeah, no, I definitely that is a thing that I do, and there's a part of me that could make that a character flaw or like a business
Yeah.
flaw, but the other side of me is I don't have to know every single thing about everyone. It's okay, like, my brain has
I,
a lot of other things going on, that's one thing we can just leave out.
have you seen those? Have you seen those things on Instagram and TikTok where someone will do a reaction video to someone saying something completely insane? And they're like, you know what? You can keep some things to yourself. You don't need to tell us
Yep,
all of that. You can keep it private. And I feel that way sometimes. I think we've gotten to this point where, oh, I need to know everything. I need to know like the VIN number on their car or
yeah,
whatever. I'm like, no, I don't. And then also, like, why do I sometimes feel compelled to, oh, I'm going to go post on Instagram, like what I had for dinner? Why do I feel compelled to do that? Who needs
I
to know that?
I don't know.
I mean, I don't
Probably
really
don't
post about my dinner, but
I probably don't tell people enough, and then they're asking me all these questions, and I'm like, "Oh, that was very key important information that you should have known."
but it's bothering me enough. I have to think about what I'm going to do next year because I am feeling pulled of because I don't the when we originally started talking about this, we said, "Oh, we really want to talk about burnout and other because I really have there have been a few times this year that's the only word that comes to mind. I am fully and completely burned out. And if one more person asks me for something, I will lose my mind.
I feel like I'm just closely adjacent enough to you that I feel your burnout, and then
Oh,
I'm like, "What
I'm
can we do
sorry.
to help?" Well, no, not in a bad way, but if it's one of those things of if we just need to kick you out of the Facebook group for a couple of days, I'm like, "That's easy. We can fix that. We're
Yeah.
already there, whatever." Like Sarah, Allie, we're good to help however.
Yeah.
But I feel it, and I'm like, "I have to protect Melissa."
That's very kind. But yeah, but no, it's like a me problem because I do think all of these things are coming together. And by the way, you feel it too, right? I feel like such a sense of obligation, and not in a bad way, in a good way. I want people's businesses to be successful, and
Mhm.
I want people to be happy with the career that they've chosen, and I want women to make a lot of money, and and so I feel like, "Oh my gosh, I have to make sure that I'm answering all the questions and doing all the things and making sure people know about the things we have that can help them and all that kind of stuff." But, we all, I think, feel that we really like genuinely helping people, and so if I go and, like, crawl into a hole for a month, that doesn't help I'm not helping anyone if I don't take care of myself. And same thing with you. And same thing if you're an organizer listening to this, if you're feeling burned out, you're not helping your clients. If you have a team, you're not helping your team members. If you are doing all the things and feeling burned out either.
Yeah. No, it's not good for anybody all the way around.
You're not helping your family, you're not helping yourself, you're not helping anybody.
No. Do you have any 'cause I actually, as we're talking about this, I have a couple of things that have already popped into my brain. Do you have any gut feeling boundaries that you feel like going into 2026, you're like, maybe rude, maybe mean, maybe hateful, some people may not like it, but we probably need to establish this and make it known right now?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think so. I always say, yeah, again, I go back to my personal philosopher, Taylor Swift, and I go back to it's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. And I do think that I have to exercise my own discipline about I need to start shutting things down. I need to start saying, I'm devoting a certain amount of time. And I also, 100%, I have to take care of myself better, like physically. I
Yeah.
do not do a good job taking care of myself, and I'm too old to not do that. You can get away with it when you're a little younger, you can't get away with it, at a certain point, and so I think I just need to say, the world will continue to spin on its axis if I'm not involved in everything all the time.
Yeah. That's a good one.
But
That's a really good one.
it's a me problem.
Yeah. Well, and I felt like I do this pretty often where I go through stints, and I would say it's probably every 3rd day. It's kinda my, like, routine.
Yeah,
I will disappear out of the IO group and
yeah,
not respond, and then it's like, I will go and I'll spend an hour and a half responding to everything,
yeah,
but for me, this isn't brain surgery. Like, I say this with my clients, like, my own clients. I'm like,
yeah,
"It's not brain surgery. Yes, your Google business profile may not be, completely optimized, or you can't post updates,
yes,
or yes,
right,
maybe, you have this issue with a client." And I'm like, me waiting another 48 hours may or may not be the different like, it could,
yeah.
but I doubt it, honestly.
Well,
So
I think we've all cultivated I think this all goes back it's everything we've talked about. We have cultivated this spirit, I mean, and we, the broader we, our
Mhm.
society has cultivated this immediacy.
Yes.
I can't wait for anything. I need Amazon to be on my doorstep an hour after I order something.
Mhm.
I need DoorDash to be at my door 20 minutes after I order my hamburger.
Mhm.
We have this I get an immediate answer.
Mhm.
And as our good friend Carly used to say, organizing is never an emergency
Yeah.
situation. Like a heart attack is an emergency situation. Organizing is not an emergency situation. Our businesses are not an emergency situation.
Yeah.
If someone can't figure out what their business name is, it does not have to be solved at 11 o'clock on a Thursday night. And
Yeah.
and I think that that's really the thing is it's boundaries around I do not have to be personally responsible, and by the way, this goes for anyone listening. You do not have to be personally responsible for getting back to a client if they text you at 11 o'clock at night. One of my very dear organizing friends actually counted. She had a client. She hadn't even gone to the client's house yet. The client had texted her 200 times.
Oh, okay.
200 texts. Short texts of, "Hey, I was thinking about this piece of furniture, and how many people are you gonna bring? And do you bring gloves? Do you" I mean, it's just all these things, and it was very stressful to her because she's every time I open my phone, there's something here.
Mhm.
And so I think that we all need to dial down, like, our expectations for response.
I have these, like, guidelines of expectation in my brain, but I don't think I've ever actually communicated that to anybody else, and
Yeah.
so I think that's one of my things I actually need to say, "You're probably not gonna get an immediate response from
Yeah,
me." Like, you
for
can
sure.
send me the message, it may sit there for a day or 2 until I have the bandwidth to answer it, because now I do that, and when I don't respond, I just feel like a jerk, but if I
Yeah,
tell you that's what I'm gonna do, then that's not jerkish, that's
yeah.
boundary, that feels better.
I also think just being honest and saying, "I'm not a superhero, you're not a superhero." We all have people that hold us to that or see us in that light.
Mhm.
You are that person to clients, right? Your clients look at you and go, "Oh my gosh, this woman, they could do so many things that I can't do." And so
Yeah.
then they put you on a pedestal, but we're just regular people too who are struggling with the same things everyone else is struggling with and are tired and all the things.
Yep.
And so I just think sometimes being honest about, "Yeah, we kind of messed up. I'm really sorry that I didn't respond to your email for 6 weeks. I'm really sorry."
I need to be better
Because
at that.
that's for real. I have so many emails. If you're listening to this and you have sent me an email, you're like, "Man, she is so rude. She didn't respond to me." It is not personal. I can tell you that for a fact. It's not personal. I messed up. I've got 1,000 emails that I need to respond to. That's kinda just that's how it is, right?
Yeah. This is where that survival comes in of 2025 was very much so a year of survival.
Very much.
Do you feel like we have a couple weeks to kind of put some things in place, boundaries, strategies, routines, habits, whatever you want to call it, so that maybe 2026 is not so survival-ish?
Yeah. I don't I don't wanna survive. I would like to actually enjoy life.
Maybe thrive, maybe a little bit of
I would like to
flourish, maybe a little bit, just a little, don't get too crazy, but just
Yeah.
a little something.
Yeah, I'm definitely not gonna start sewing my own clothing and growing my own vegetables. That's not something I'm gonna do, but I'm like, I would really like to just say it's 8 o'clock at night and I'm not gonna sit in front of my laptop.
Yep.
I'm
I think
going
that is
to sit on the couch and I'm gonna read a book,
I think that is a totally healthy
or I'm gonna
boundary.
go to bed at 8:30. Because that
That
also honestly, right now, that sounds great.
that sounds absolutely fabulous.
I'm, like, really tired today. So do you know why I'm really tired today? Let me tell you. Because last night, 12:30 in the morning, my brain was like, "I would like to catalog all the things that you need to do in the next 36 hours." And my brain just exhaustively was going through that. And so then I couldn't go to sleep. And then I was like, when you do that thing where you're like, the alarm's going to go off at 6. And if I don't go to sleep, if I go to sleep right now, I'm only going to sleep 5.5 hours. Oh my gosh, now I'm only going to sleep 5 hours and 10 minutes. And that's not enough. And then your brain goes even further.
Yep. Do you ever have built-in time to just think?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
Nope. Absolutely not.
I
Always
really
think,
think that is gonna be a thing for me in 2026. I don't know how much or how often, or I don't know exactly, but I know how my brain works. I know how much I
yeah,
think. I know how much, like, I just am heavy idea creation type of person,
yeah,
for myself and other people. I will send
for
people
sure.
messages, and I'm like, "Hey, you can totally
You
stop."
sent me a color coded spreadsheet the other day. I mean, by the way, it's great, you guys. But yeah, but no, I don't ever think.
It's a problem, like, I have too many ideas, and
Yeah.
it's, the ones that actually come out of my mouth in whatever fashion are a minor drop in the bucket in
Yeah.
comparison to what's constantly going on internally, and so I just think having a little more time to think might give me a little bit more flexibility so that I don't feel the pressure or the force or
Mhm.
the weight of all the thoughts at 12:30 at night whenever I should be sleeping, you know?
Correct. I like this train of thought. We gotta keep it going. It's
One of my mentors, she had a mentor that she kinda told us about, and she was like, she just takes 1 day a week that she blocks off
Mhm.
her calendar, and that's her day to think and strategize and plan, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I could probably spend a whole day doing just that. I
Yeah.
don't know if I would feel, I don't know, accomplished after that day,
Mhm.
but I have enough thoughts and I have enough things that probably do need some super brain power.
Yeah.
It would be beneficial. So maybe this is the start of just a couple times a week, sit for 30 minutes and just think.
Well, you really should read since we're talking about books. I'm gonna put it on my list that I need to reread Deep Work, the Cal Newport
Mhm.
book, because that's a big thing that he talks about. So the concept of deep work is you shut everything off.
Mhm.
And all you do is go like super deep on a project and you single task, you do not multitask and and I think that's another thing that I suffer from is I do the squirrel thing and I'm like, oh well I'm gonna throw some music on in my ears and then I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna oh and I forgot I need to do a load of laundry and whatever. I don't single task.
Do you wanna know what just went through my brain as you're
Sure.
saying, "You should read this book?" I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh, yeah, I can just read it while we're watching the game this weekend."
Yeah. I'm gonna get an audiobook and then I'm gonna do it while I'm on the treadmill and then while I'm also responding to emails. I'll just listen to it, but no.
We completely missed the point.
We have really gone off the rails of what the point of this whole conversation was.
Oh, bless. We're working on it. We're aware,
Yeah,
okay? We're at least aware.
for sure. So, yeah, I think maybe my word of the year needs to be single task. I don't know. I'm gonna have to workshop what the word of the year is because but I would for next year, I would like to have more happiness. I have a good life. Like I have a good life and I have lovely people in my life and I have, a lot. I'm very, very fortunate to have safety and security in a lot of things. And I'm like, I would like to be happier.
Yeah. One of those kind of minimalist mindsets is like, when the time comes and you die, like, you can't take all the things with you.
No.
And so, I think if we apply that as business owners in the world, I also think that applies to it doesn't make sense to have your own business if you are completely burnt out and you don't enjoy time with your family, and it doesn't matter how much money you made. It doesn't matter what kind of impact you left or made, like, on this world. If you didn't get to enjoy your life in the process, it was all for nothing.
Yeah.
So
Well, someone who, we just started and we'll talk about this more in a couple of weeks, but we started this new Teams course and the community, and someone was introducing themselves in the community, and she was talking about, I have to do all the things for my team. I'm the shopper and I'm the scheduler and I do payroll and I do all and a couple of people were like, oh my gosh, I got a virtual assistant and it changed my life. Or, I have a personal friend who got a personal assistant and this woman has saved her bacon like 100 times. And it could be as simple as that, right? It could be
yeah,
as simple as we're just all doing too many things. So we have to figure out how we can look to our community and get some help. Yeah, because the whole point of a team is you're getting someone else to be able to go do the organizing work, but you still have 200 pounds of work to do in the background, and you might need even more help. And
mm,
sometimes we don't feel like we can ask for that. So,
yeah, yeah, that's all good
but
stuff.
okay, so we're gonna keep talking about this because I think it's important.
I agree, and I also think kinda in the vein of 2026, we're wrapping up the end of the year. This is always kind of like, I don't know, for everyone, like, we get a lull, like, that week of Christmas,
For
essentially,
sure.
and that's kind of always my week where I'm like, "Okay, what worked really well? What do we wanna carry into 2026? What does that look like?" I would be interested if listeners of the podcast would be interested in, like, a goal-setting workshop
Ooh,
because
I'm
I
bad at goals. I need a goal setting workshop.
well, and I think that I mean, I actually love goals and I do it every single year, but as we've talked about this, I realize I'm not good at self-care goals or like
Correct.
protecting boundary goals. And so it's like,
Yep.
how do you quantify that? How do you checklist that? How do you gold star it to make sure that going into this next year, that is something that is a high priority and doesn't just keep getting shifted to the back burner?
Yeah. No, I like that, and I do, I would love I'm not going to teach a goal setting seminar, I'm going to attend it because I need it. I'm really bad at setting goals. I do not I just even in the old corporate life where you had to set a bunch of goals and you had to do them, and there was, like, very regimented and I hated it so much, and I had a job at one point that was strategic planning, and that was, like, one of my least favorite things I've ever done, and I know there are people that thrive on that, I just don't happen to be one of them. I'm more of a doer than a thinker, but I also recognize how important it is, and I recognize that there are things that I've wanted to do. There are milestones that I have wanted to do that I haven't quite met, and I'm like, the only way that you can do it is by setting goals and working toward, what does that look like? And how am I
So
gonna get there, and what are the steps to get there? And I'm not good at that.
yeah. Well, and I don't like too strict of goals because
Sure.
then I'm like, you lose part of, like, where the magic happens, and if I had followed all of the goals I had set forth in 2025, I don't think I would have done half of the other cool shit that I got to do in my personal life,
Okay, sure.
buying other businesses, things that I get to do in Pro Organizer Street. Like, if I had followed my goal list to an absolute T, it would not have awarded some of the other things. And so I'm like, yes, goals are great. And the
You have
concept
to
of
have time for both.
yes,
Yeah.
but you have to leave a little room for magic and opportunity. And I mean, I don't know. It's a very slippery slope if you look at it.
Okay, that's a good one though, leaving room for magic. I like
Yeah.
that because you have to like leaving room just in general is probably what we're trying to encapsulate is
Yeah.
you've got to leave room for things that you don't anticipate.
Mhm.
Or, the Mike Tyson quote, everyone has a plan until you get punched in the face,
Yeah.
which is one of my favorite quotes.
I got
Like,
punched in the face with good things 10 times this year. So
sure, absolutely.
why not?
Or unexpected things that you're just like, I mean, great. I'll give a great example. When I got the opportunity to buy Pro Organizer Studio, that was out, when I tell you, it was out of the blue. And I'm like, that's been like the biggest gift of my life, right?
Yeah.
And I mean that very sincerely. And so, yeah, you gotta leave room to get punched in the face. That's
Leave
the name of
room.
the podcast.
I'm gonna call it magic because I like magic better than getting punched in the face.
Okay.
But leave some room for
Yeah,
whatever
leave room
you
for magic.
need. Take whatever you need.
I like that.
Hmm.
That's great. Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
this podcast today, we were going to podcast about something else entirely, and this was your idea, and I like it so much better. I mean, we're going to do the other one too, because it's a good one. But
Of
this
course
is the
we
one
can.
that needed to be today.
Yep, I agree.
I love it. So, thank you, as always.
Of course. You are fixing to take your trip, and so
I
I
am.
need everybody to you can email Melissa, but I'm gonna try and, like, hack in so that she doesn't have to worry about it.
You have an email now.
I do
You
have an
have
email, but I need your email so
oh
that you're not checking your email
oh right.
while you're
Okay.
on
All right. Fair.
vacation.
Fair. That's all right.
You can
Message
still
taken.
yeah, everybody can still email, but
Yeah.
I really don't want Melissa checking emails.
No,
So maybe a week or
listen.
2 before you get a response.
I'm going. You guys, I'm so excited. Okay, so if you're watching this on YouTube, I have a little baby Christmas tree behind me. I have a Christmas tree in my front room. I have a Christmas tree in my den. My daughter has a Christmas tree in her room. I have a lot of Christmas trees in my house. I love Christmas. It makes me really happy. And I'm going to the Christmas markets in Europe, and I am very excited about it. I'm going to drink a lot of wine, and I'm going to eat a lot of cheese. Instagram has been serving up nonstop Christmas market food, like they just pour cheese, hot scalding cheese into bread and you just walk around with it. And then I'm like, I'm gonna get 1,000 Christmas ornaments and I'm very excited.
I am low key jealous, but I definitely think that you need this.
I
So
do.
I randomly landed on some TikTok that was like, they do things differently. Like they have different nutrients in their food than we do in the United
Oh,
States.
yeah,
And so like bread isn't as bad for you. It doesn't make you
correct.
bloat and like all these things. And so I'm like,
Correct. No, it's really true.
you should definitely load up on all of the
I'm
good.
going to. Yeah, no, I'm going to. No, that is actually true because it's all about like things that are allowed here that are
Mhm.
not allowed there. And yeah, so anyway, bread, bring it on.
All the bread, all the cheese, all the wine.
Bread,
You're
cheese, wine,
We're gonna
Wiener
live
Schnitzel.
vicariously through you,
Absolutely. I'm gonna eat it all. So I'll let you know how it goes. We'll start the wellness journey not
after
next
you get
week.
back.
Not not gonna be on the walking pad next week. So
That's okay. That's okay.
all right. Thank you, friend.
Of course, thank you.